Watch TV.
And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
The new Xbox's high-tech sensors can also detect your expression and tell when you're looking away from the television.
Andy, look back at the TV.
Microsoft says the new Xbox can also command you using your smartphone or tablet. TechBuzz is raving. Quote, "It's the immersive obedience experience we've been waiting for."
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix.
All right, welcome to Aria Uncensored. Take that. Where we take your calls totally uncensored with the top list tranny. Of course, you're free to call in at 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. And if you're wondering why we're laughing, it's because as soon as I started taking my clothes off, Rich threw $1 at me.
Mike?
Yeah, very funny stuff. Of course, I'm joined tonight by Rich Paul because I learned last week that it's significantly harder to do this solo for 2 hours than I expected. I mean, it didn't help that last week I had absolutely no prep because my phone was like, you know what? I don't think I want to charge for the next 3 hours. But as soon as I got home, everything was fine. I plugged it in, it charged just fine, and it has not given me a single problem since. So I think last week was just kind of doomed from the start. So, Rich, how's it going?
Just got to make sure the power strip is turned on, not so it was wrong today.
No, because we tried Ian's charger over there. We tried the one over here by the
really?
mixer. Yeah, we tried several chargers,
okay.
and it didn't charge on any of them.
Wow.
It wasn't until I got it home and plugged it in that it was like, boop, going to charge now.
Wow.
So that was a fun experience. Of course, those who have been keeping track know that we ended Call to Freedom early today so that we could, the entire cast, I was really proud to see the entire cast of Call to Freedom attended this event, although I bailed on the event early. Like in half an hour early, so I stayed for 2/3 of it. But it got to be really frustrating. I did have a question prepared, a really hard-hitting question that I really wanted to ask. But it was kind of redundant after all of the speakers on the panel. There were 4 of them, 2 male to female trans people, 1 gender queer person who I never understood why they were there, and 1 female to male person who lives here in Keene as well, which I thought was interesting. And I wanted to ask them, right, what do you think of the increasing trend among psychologists and therapists to teach people in the throes of gender identity disorder to seek validation from others, such as through demands of particular pronoun usage, rather than teaching people that they're valid of their own accord and that their internal perception of self should not be dependent upon the words of strangers over whom they rightly have no control? As a follow-up, do you agree that this mentality that a trans person is only valid when their identity is validated by others is responsible for creating scenes that cause significant damage to the public perception of trans people, like was seen in the Supermam Tiffany at GameStop video that went viral, used by enemies of the cause for trans acceptance as evidence that the stereotypes of unhealthy and unreasonable sensitivity are accurate? Now, granted, that's a hell of a question. I would have expected them to have to take a few seconds to process what the fuck I had even just asked. But it goes on. Because it seems that when people are taught that their identity is external and projected onto them by others, they leave themselves undefined and vulnerable, such that a simple mistake becomes a rejection of the person's internal perception of self, which they recklessly derive from external influences. I wanted to ask that question because it's a hard-hitting question, and I know how most trans people would answer it. First of all, they haven't given it any fucking thought whatsoever. What they're actually doing when they rely so extensively on the pronoun usage of strangers that it causes them such significant offense when the wrong one gets used. What I also found, the whole fucking event was just super fascinating for my analytical, I'm not a part of this fucking shit, I'm just watching this shit show from the side perspective, because I don't consider myself to be a part of their community, certainly. And that was reiterated tonight, I would say. It was interesting to find that there were a lot of similarities in our stories between how they started, where they went, and where they ended, right? Like, they started out as just ordinary cisgender people. And then they started living a double life where they worked as their birth sex, while at night they cross-dressed, or whatever terminology we would like to use, until they finally were like, I'm going to cut out this part of the double life and just live permanently cross-dressed as transgender.
Okay, now you made a statement that is different from what I've heard from from most other trans people that I've heard from.
I don't doubt that at all.
Heard there, which is that they started out cisgendered and then became trans as they transitioned, where most of the trans people that I've spoken to have said, I've always been the gender that I am. My personality has always been that gender, and I just started, I hid it and then I released it. So,
I'm familiar with that.
Which way do you see that?
They're mixing up terminology here. And that I don't know if that's part of their own confusion or their own failure to think these through, or just a subtle manipulation tactic. They may have had gender identity disorder or gender dysphoria for all of their lives.
And what's the difference between those two? I didn't know.
Gender identity disorder and gender dysphoria are the same thing. One is a deprecated term. I don't remember which. I thought that gender dysphoria was considered the deprecated term, but what I've read in the last few weeks was that it's actually GID, gender identity disorder, that's considered deprecated. But whatever we want to call it, that's the illness, right? That's the whole, I feel like I'm a woman, but I have a penis thing. That's gender identity disorder.
Right.
Being trans is a treatment for that. So what these people do is they go, okay, it's like cancer versus chemotherapy, right? Just because you have cancer doesn't mean you're undergoing chemotherapy. And although it doesn't actually apply in this particular scenario, just because you are undergoing chemotherapy doesn't mean you have cancer. It doesn't apply in regard to cancer and, chemotherapy, but I think most people will get the point of what I'm saying. Just because you have gender identity disorder doesn't mean you're trans. Trans is the treatment for that gender identity disorder. Becoming trans.
So trans means changing.
Yes, pursuing transgenderism is the treatment to gender identity disorder. So saying that they've always been trans or something like that, it may be an inaccurate way.
Yeah, and I guess I don't mean I guess what I meant there is they had always been their destination gender, but yeah, I guess to say they'd always been trans would be, it'd be like saying you've always been a recovering drug addict. No, you were born a drug addict maybe with a genetic predisposition to it, but you didn't actually become a drug addict until you got addicted to drugs.
Right, being trans, and I realize I'm about to piss off every leftist who took the time to tune into this. Being trans is a choice. It is a decision that people make in order to deal with their gender identity disorder. Gender identity disorder is not a choice. It is a serious and sucky thing that a lot of people have to deal with. But more to the point, so there was this genderqueer person there whose main issue, her main grievance against American society was that she wasn't allowed to put an X on her driver's license under sex or gender, whatever is listed as here in New Hampshire. That was her grievance, right?
Wow.
That was the...
And that's going to be a clusterfuck for a long time because they've got like 36 genders.
I mean, yeah, it's a clusterfuck, sure, but it's on the scale of priorities. Yeah. That's like a total lack of perspective. That's like going, well, I didn't get to eat a $50 steak for dinner tonight, so I'm suffering just as bad as this fucking starving person in Ethiopia, right?
So you're saying it's first world problems. I can't disagree with that at all.
I mean, it's not just a first world problem. It's the epitome of first world. Bitch, you don't have a thing on your fucking driver's license that makes you feel... And they were acting like this was a big fucking deal. Now, is that what's going to determine? I
mean, if I was trans, the thing that would scare me most would be getting arrested by some hick sheriff and thrown in the wrong damn jail
I've been
for,
there. I have
you know.
fucking been there. And that was one of the reasons that I just had to leave, because these people's perspective on what kind of consequences a trans person can face is so skewed from being here in fucking tolerant ass New Hampshire, where even in these rural areas, you just don't have things like that.
Yeah.
You don't have deputies filling you up in a jail to satisfy their own curiosity while you're locked in a steel cage and they're holding a gun and you're naked.
Right.
I've been through that, right?
Oh, wow.
They have no idea what that's like. To them, oppression is, I can't have an X on my driver's license. To me, oppression is being locked in a steel cage surrounded by concrete with no windows, being felt up by a sheriff's deputy who wants to satisfy his fucking curiosity about what trans means.
Yeah.
So it's a total lack of fucking perspective.
Yeah.
But that's its own thing. And look, I'm totally with you. Suffering is 100% relative. Just because I went through that does not in any way mitigate or decrease the suffering that they've gone through, right? Her inability to get an X on her driver's license is every bit as painful to her as getting felt up and strip searched by deputies in fucking Mississippi was to me.
Now, do you see, obviously, if the transsexualism is a choice, and you know that makes perfect sense by the definitions you're giving me, do you see yourself as having a disorder, or
yes, I have gender identity disorder.
Okay, so you do see it as a medical issue that
it's a medical issue in the same way that a white kid liking rap is a medical issue. I would say
white people that can rap.
A white kid who likes rap music is a medical issue in the same way that gender identity disorder is a medical issue, because the social.
See, I wouldn't call that a medical issue. I would just call that a matter of taste.
Yeah, and that's exactly.
I'll interpret your question there as a no, and I would tend to agree with you. I dated a transgender person for a while, and you know, she wanted to get bottom surgery.
Yes.
And I was like,
we discussed that last week. To me, bottom surgery.
Obviously,
if you do that,
whatever
you're a
makes
idiot.
you happy, but you know, maybe you should consider the possibility that you're supposed to be a girl with a penis, and that's how nature made you. So maybe that's okay too.
I mean, that's exactly how I fucking take it. You know, so many people have asked me in the past, "Oh, you don't experience dysphoria from having your penis pleasured," or however they wish to characterize it, and I'm like, no. Why the fuck would I? It's part of me. It doesn't bother me. I don't see any reason. And yes, I realize that it's a very millennial way to view things, but I don't feel confined to having a vagina simply because other women do. I do want to improve certain other things, like my voice and things like that. Like today has been really bad. Like during the Call to Freedom, I was just constantly hoarse, and I have no idea why. I assume it's because I didn't fucking sleep last night at all. Like I was up all fucking night. No idea why. But I would assume that was the reason why. But yeah, like my voice and, you know, probably breast implants at some point, things like that. Sure, I would like to see those changed to more adequate. But it's not for anyone else that I wish to do those things.
How long have you been on the hormones?
That's a complicated fucking issue.
Compliance has come and gone, or you've gone off and on them?
Off and on them would be a more accurate description, because I'm from Mississippi.
So compliance is you have a prescription, but you're not taking it for whatever reason.
No.
And off and on them, I would say, would be you have a prescription and you can't get a prescription, and you can get a prescription.
It was closer to that because I was in Mississippi, where no doctor was going to sign off on a prescription for a person to take hormones. It just wasn't going to happen. Not in fucking Mississippi. And a lot of people don't have any perspective on this. Is the deep fucking South. The rural parts of the deep fucking South. That's where I'm from, right? Where they have actual fucking compounds for when the Antichrist took over during the Y2K bug. That's where I'm from.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was never going to be a doctor. That was my phone. It's all good.
I didn't do it.
No, I did. There was never going to be a doctor willing to write me hormone prescriptions. So I had to order them from internationaldrugmart.com. Again, that's internationaldrugmart.com.
Thank you. I'm going to have to check on some things there myself.
Yeah, where you could get both spironolactone and estrogen. So, of course, I began ordering...
Can you get Ritalin by any chance?
I don't think so.
Shit, I need some Ritalin.
I don't know anything about that. But you could get estrogen through them. So I began doing that. It was exorbitantly expensive. It was like $60 a month for like 2 boxes, which is about 4 milligrams a day, which is about half of what someone my age should be taking of estrogen. And that doesn't include the spironolactone, which is a testosterone blocker. And what I didn't know until I went to Planned Parenthood here in Keene, which, interestingly enough, does transsexualism and things like that, is that testosterone is such a powerful hormone that if you're not on a testosterone blocker, you might as well not waste your time taking estrogen. It's not going to affect you. Female to male people have it much easier because all they have to do is take testosterone.
And that just overpowers the estrogen,
Yeah.
and away they go.
But when you go the other way, you have to
now,
take
people
the
would
T
say I
blocker.
was terribly sexist if I said that the hormones emulated the genders, so I won't say that.
Well, no, I think you can fucking say that here. Fuck them.
I didn't say you'd say it. I think you can cope with just about anything that comes out of my mouth, but that's not true, everybody.
Well, if they can't fucking cope, they can click the X and go on with their own fucking lives and not listen to us talking about transsexualism. Fuck them. Fuck
Works for
them.
me.
But I think most people out there are adults, and they would welcome this fucking blunt, this exceedingly blunt conversation.
Yeah, for me, I really like talking to you about this kind of thing because I don't get the feeling that you're about to burst into tears, which is the feeling I get even from the person that I dated who was trans. I got the feeling, and like
It's interesting that you say that because that was the way I felt during a lot of the ACLU thing tonight, was that a lot of these panelists speaking were about to burst into tears.
Yeah. Then again, I've seen a lot of people talking at AA meetings who looked like they were about to burst into tears.
Yeah,
and
but
if you
those
went
peop-
back and found the same person talking 2 years later, it wasn't necessarily the same thing. So
I
it may
don't-
just be that these are people who are newer or less well adjusted, or are they being trained to be unhappy?
First of all, I would say that
in life.
for the most part, people who are going through AA, they have been through some shit. Whether it's self-caused or not, they have been through some shit. One of the interesting things about the event tonight that was at Keene State College was this chick, Tia, who, in the process of talking about her trans past, because that's what all of the panelists did, she goes, I had a pretty good life. Oh, but I mean, there was some trauma, sure, but all in all, I had a pretty good life. And it was like she threw that line out there, that she had experienced some trauma as sort of an admission ticket into this elite club of people who could only truly qualify as trans if they had been through a bunch of bullshit.
Is it possible to be trans in America without experiencing any trauma?
I would say it absolutely is.
Because I know that, I mean, you're one of the least traumatized trans people I've met, but I can't.
It's because I went
when
through a
you've
fuckload
described
of
that
trauma,
experience
though.
that you talked about in jail, I mean, I would have been traumatized. I was somewhat traumatized by having to bend over and spread my cheeks for a dude. And you know, it's not the first time I've done that, but it's the first time I've done it for somebody I didn't like.
I don't know if traumatized would be the right word. I was shaken for several days. I was shaken for about a week.
See, that's trauma, sweetie.
But I recovered.
It's not.
And I went on about my life and I put it behind me.
But
it's
that's
not something,
the thing.
But
Everybody
no,
suffers trauma,
No,
and then you get over it.
No. Trauma gets worked into one's own being. That's the difference between trauma and just being shaken. Is trauma becomes a core part of you.
See, I haven't used that definition because I guess I think of trauma more in the same way that you think of it in the sense of trauma center, where this guy's just been in an accident, he's fucked up, but his body has been traumatized, but he's going to be okay. We just got to fix him. So
and I don't want to put any sort of emotional experience on the same level as somebody who, like that guy who was in a motorcycle accident over here. To me, it's just entirely different categories of events. And sure, there's plenty to be said that emotional trauma is as damaging to the individual as physical trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to weigh in on that one way or the other because I'm not an expert on the subject.
Well, I would say being raped has more impact on who I am at 50 than breaking my foot when I was 8 or 9.
Yeah, but
I don't know if you can compare that.
Breaking your foot at 8 or 9 wouldn't be physical trauma. It would be a physical event, sure. But physical trauma, I mean, the word trauma should, and I realize it doesn't in this modern political environment where people have PTSD because their parents argued at the dinner table, and so debates trigger them. I realized that the word trauma, it has been neutered. It's been watered down to where it just any kind of pain or any kind of suffering in one's past becomes qualified for trauma. As being
and I
called
think that's what
trauma.
What traumatizes, what scares people like Jordan Peterson is they're afraid of the language becoming meaningless. You know, what do you think? Have you listened to Jordan? What do you think about?
I have never listened to Jordan Peterson.
Really?
He can eat a dick as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Yours or?
Preferably not mine. I would like mine to stay intact.
You think he bites?
Well, if he's going to eat a dick, I would hope he doesn't swallow it whole.
That kind of eat. I thought you were being more metaphorical than that.
No, no. When I tell someone to eat a dick, I mean they can eat a dick.
Wow. Yeah, my buddy Capuzzo at his funeral, they brought a little bag of dicks for each person, chocolate dicks for each person who attended. So
I saw you can order
everybody
those now.
could eat a bag of dicks one last time.
That's awesome. But another thing that I really found separating between me and these 4 trans people who were on the panel was like the genderqueer. There was something wrong with all of them. There was something critically wrong with all of them that made me go, okay, except with the fucking exception of Liam, who very rarely spoke, who is a female to male trans person, and who I think would probably fit right at home here on LRN.FM, just from the vibes I got from him.
Can I ask, were any of them from Keene, any of the panelists?
Liam actually was. I think he works at one of the coffee shops right there on Main Street. He's a female to male person, and he was very quiet through all of this. Like when they were ranting about the patriarchy, look, if you have a goddamn fucking penis, I don't want to hear you say a fucking thing about the patriarchy. I don't care if you're fucking trans, just shut the fuck up. You do not get your woman card by ranting about the fucking patriarchy.
And
That's
I'm
not
sorry,
how it fucking
because
works.
if you have a vagina and you start telling me about the patriarchy, I'm going to start telling you about the matriarchy, and you won't like it, so don't do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll my eyes too. If you happen to have a vagina and you're ranting about the patriarchy, I'm just gonna roll my eyes at that. But if you have a fucking penis, I'm gonna give you the middle finger and roll my eyes about it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that the genderqueer person on the panel, and again, every one of them has, except with the exception of Liam, every one of them had something that was just identifiably wrong with how they were viewing things. Like the genderqueer person said that once she came out as being genderqueer and neither male nor female, it wasn't that she was, or he, I don't even know what the fuck to say. What do you say about a genderqueer person who says, I'm neither he nor she? What the fuck do you want from me, man?
Well,
I speak English here, and I'm sorry, and I realize that this
English,
makes me trans
the proper
fucking
way
phobic.
of handling that, I think, is to use he, because masculine is the gender that you use when you don't want to say gender.
Well, yeah, and that was what was
Masculine
really...
includes the feminine in English.
Well,
that may be an artifact of the patriarchy, but that's how the language is designed.
I would argue that it is in fact an artifact of the patriarchy.
Yeah, well, you get rid of that thing, and then you can tell me that.
Well, we did get rid of it. We did get rid of it. No,
you said it. You're talking about the patriarchy. My eyes are rolling.
Hey, you're on my show. You're going to have to shut the fuck up. Okay. I said that it is a remnant of the patriarchy, which implies that the patriarchy no longer exists.
Oh, interesting.
But still has remnants today, like the primary usage of he when the identity of the person being spoken of is unknown. Right? That's one of the remnants of that.
Okay.
So I don't think that he necessarily, and the usage of the word guy, as we talked about on Free Talk Live last night, is the same sort of thing, right? Where it's just assumed that the masculine can include the feminine, but if you were to call somebody, hey, gals, what's going on? It's necessarily feminine. Those are remnants of what used to be a patriarchy, and which no longer exists, and which demonstrably no longer exists, right?
Yeah.
Women have, I don't care what people want to say about a female president or whatever, women have just as much power today as men, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no more patriarchy.
I would definitely agree with you in that.
There used to be one, but there isn't now. And I'm okay with that.
And even back in the day, I mean, if you're arranging a small tribe of warriors who are living on the bitter edge of existence and constantly being overrun by other tribes, it may well be that, you know, the men and the women agreed that maybe the people who are fighting the battle should be in charge. That might not be the case anymore.
Yeah,
but
I certainly don't agree that men just took charge and were like, you women have to deal with it. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how it all came about.
Yeah. Well, it looks like, I mean, from everything that I've read about the feudal period, it seemed
Well, this would go back farther than that. I mean, it would go back to the ancient era.
Yeah, I mean, it would go back to in most tribes, at least. Were there tribes where the women fought along with the men?
I don't have any idea.
I don't know either. Of course, there were the Amazons
of gender question, Rich.
Of lesbians. Yeah. So, do you consider gender to be a social construct?
I do.
Okay.
Sex
I
is not.
I tend to agree in that.
Sex is not a social construct. It's certainly biological, and gender is an extension of sex in that, you know, obviously if a particular sex is going to wear something to protect their bosom, it would be the female gender, and that's how the cultural tendency of women to wear bras but not men came about as an extension of that sexual characteristic. But that women wear bras became a cultural characteristic. In the same way that, you know, if someone was going to wear a jockstrap, it would be a male. Because of the biological tendency.
Do women wear like clit covers when they're doing sports? I don't even know.
I have no fucking idea.
I mean, do they encase the bean? Because, I mean, getting hit in one of those things can't be fun. A little lick will send you up the wall.
I do know. I do know for a fact from my experiences as a teenager that women who played hindcatcher in softball were supposed to wear protective underwear as opposed to the men who wore jockstraps while playing hindcatcher.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's what I would think. It can't be it can't be good. I mean, I've never kicked anybody in one, but it can't be.
You've never cunt punted anyone?
I have never given a cunt punt.
Nor have I.
I've given some serious spankings, but
well, what she was anyway. What this gender queer person, who I still have no idea why they were there, was actually saying was that once she came out as gender queer, she wanted to find my people. That's exactly how she put it. She got on the internet and she sought out her people, which strikes me as just such a collectivist BS thing to even want. Like, I found my people. And it's not because they're of their gender or their sexual orientation or anything like that. It's because they're fucking cool people who don't fucking treat me like I'm a sack of shit. They're fucking individualists. They're libertarians. They're anarchists. That's my fucking people. If I had to define a group of people with whom I would want to be associated, it would be that. It wouldn't be, oh, well, he's gay, so he's necessarily cool, or he should necessarily be a part of my life. But that's how she and these other, or they, or Z, or whatever the fuck they want to be called, view the world.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not crazy about the enforced pronoun things. I find that scary, partially because I smoke a shitload of weed, and it's like, if your pronoun is something other than he and she, you're lucky if I'm going to remember that the pronoun Z exists, much less remember who to attach it to. And it's not because I don't respect you, it's because I'm 50 years old and I learned to speak English in a particular way, and that shit wasn't there.
That's exactly it. And if you have thoughts on the subject, you're invited to give us a call. That number's on the bottom. It's 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines at discord.lrn.fm.
You want Turd Ferguson?
Sure.
Here he is.
What's up, Turd?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for taking my call.
Haven't heard from you since you chased off Chris Cantwell.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to do it again. I hope you guys invite him back in the studio soon. But,
I don't think he will ever do another radio appearance with me.
He chased him off. He chased Cantwell off this weekend because Cantwell was going to be on Vincent's show, and Cantwell came in here the night before that just to kind of hang out because I'd invited him over because he is. He posted this blog post that you read on his website, kind of like almost sounding like he was having a crisis of conscience or something like that.
It sounded repentant.
Yeah, and so I wanted him to come in and hang out, and so he came in, and for like the first hour of our after show it was Friday night, I think it was. You were here, and Cantwell was just sitting over in the chair, and as soon as Turd Ferguson popped into the Discord call-in line, Cantwell was in the Discord chatting in the Discord chat for like the first hour, and as soon as you showed up in the call-in line, he decided it was time for him to get up and leave.
Oh wow!
So Turd didn't
See, I
get on
thought
the
it
air.
was because I thought his girlfriend had gotten bored. He was there, which is disappointing because I really would love to listen to Cantwell explain to one of his white nationalist friends how he's dating a Puerto Rican girl.
Part Puerto Rican.
You know, that to me would be fascinating. How do you?
So thank you for your service, Turd.
Well, it's no problem. Actually, if he's got a Puerto Rican girlfriend, I find that quite sexy. I love Puerto Rican women.
Got some Puerto Rican girls that just dying to meet you. I used to sleep with this little 23-year-old Puerto Rican prostitute in Manchester.
Okay,
my
Turd, what did you
God,
call
she
in
was
about?
amazing. Okay, speak up.
Well, there's a couple things I called in about. I mean, as you guys were talking after I called in, I want to add this briefly. I am a Jordan Peterson fan. I think he's a really smart guy.
I like a lot of what he says too. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is. He's a smart guy. And then also Liam is also an awesome name just because I love Oasis and Liam Gallagher's the shit. So I wanted to throw that out there too. But I have this news article here, and I don't usually bring up articles, but I find this one particularly close to my heart. It really spoke to me. And I was considered calling Free Talk Live earlier and talking about it, but I didn't know if it was super appropriate to be on 195 conservative radio stations all over the country.
Yeah. So the article.
So this article is actually about the porn star Jimmy Lifestyles, and I posted this in the LRN Discord earlier. But he, I guess during a film shoot, engaging in a sexual act that I'm particularly fond of, analingus. Those who know me personally will know I can truly appreciate the beauty of a beautiful woman's butthole.
There is nothing quite like licking a chick's ass. I will give you that.
I agree. It's 9-volt battery type shit. So I totally feel where this guy was at in his head when this happened. But he, I guess, got way too turned on in the middle of a filming a porno and licked two of the porn actresses' buttholes, who I guess had not given him permission to do that in the contractual agreements. And now they posted videos of themselves crying after the shoot, saying like, "Oh my God, this guy stuck a tongue in my asshole, and I totally was not expecting it." And then he posted a video up of himself crying, because he's being accused.
Is this real life?
Oh, good Lord. I mean, if you're going down on her with any sort of determination, you're just going to hit the ass once in a while. Tongues are flying everywhere. There's moderate cunnilingus is pointless.
So what did these women consent to exactly?
Well,
apparently cunnilingus, but not analingus.
Well, so the article doesn't get in too specifically of what they agreed on originally, although it does say that they had agreed to something, quote unquote, soft core. And I guess putting your tongue in a woman's asshole is just too hardcore. Personally,
it is definitely not soft core.
So I got my tongue up this chick's ass, and she's giving me an attitude like, who the hell are you?
There's a large difference between softcore and hardcore porn. Softcore porn generally contains no sort of tongue to anus or tongue to genitalia contact, or genitalia to genitalia contact. It's generally faked, right? It just contains a lot of nudity and a lot of appearance of sex.
Sure. I see what you're saying, but I still think that soft core, when you just think about sex in human, just as far as human beings go, I mean, look, I've never been able to have sex with a hot blonde girl and not fuck her doggy style and look at her asshole and like not want to put my tongue on it. Like that's just, I think it's just a guy thing that's, somewhere deep in the soul of a man that just feels the intense urge to look at a butthole in the heat of the moment.
Well, anything can be a dildo if you have the courage.
Yeah, true, including my tongue. Yeah, that's right. But
I
yeah,
am
you
too
know,
drunk for what you just said.
What?
look,
What?
I think this is a great article, and I'm totally
Okay,
glad.
so these chicks agreed to do some softcore porn like you would find on like Skinamax or something like that.
I
this dude-
guess.
I mean, that's what
It's a-
softcore porn is.
Sure, but there were already 3 of them go.
I mean,
there
it
was
doesn't
only-
matter if they did not consent to have their anuses or their vaginas visibly or
Sure.
noticeably or physically touched by this other person, and they were
Sure.
instead performing, because porn acting is acting. You know, a lot of
Yeah,
we might
sure.
like to think about it as, oh well, I mean, if you're already pretending to have sex with these people, you might as well just have sex with them. And if you're going to do that, you might as well just have anal sex with them or whatever. But it is just acting, right? So they agree
Right.
to take part in the act of pretending to have sex for the masturbatory fantasies of all the people out there who want to watch it. And during
Sure,
the
so-
course of all of this, that is really not necessary.
That was great. Props to Ian on that one. That was a great sound effect, dude.
That was not Ian.
I thought that was.
That was actually me. Loose lips sink ships.
I thought that was a sound.
But
I-
during the course of all of this, the guy molested them by licking their anuses.
Sure. So I could totally see where you're coming from on that too. And that makes sense to me. But you know, I mean,
it would be like a guy kissing Jennifer Aniston and during a movie and just be like, oh, you're so hot, I'm going to go ahead and reach down your pants and finger you. It's just as out of line to do that.
It's out of line, but I don't know. I think
it's
the line
out
gets
of
blurred.
line, but it's like feet closer. I mean, once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
mean,
I will go on
if you're
record as
starting
hold
at
on,
the clit
hold on,
and
hold
you're
on.
going all the way
Hold on.
down to the tip,
Hold on.
you know,
I will go
a
on
half-inch
Rich,
miscalculation
chill out, dude.
puts you in the butt.
I will go on record as saying you should not lick a woman's asshole unless she wants you to. I will gladly go on record making that statement.
I would tend
hold
to
on a second.
agree.
Well, hold on a second. Okay. So okay. Well, Aria, you might be the perfect person to ask for this, but
I'm
look,
usually
if I'm,
not.
Well, let me just get your input. So, look, if I'm in the middle of having sex with let's just say it's my girlfriend, just for all intents and purposes for the argument, and I'm
Okay.
fucking her doggy style,
Uh-huh.
and she's got her ass like bent up in a position that's really sexy and has her asshole right in my face, and I don't ask permission to lick her butthole, and I just do it. Am I violating the nap if she doesn't like that?
Well, if
No,
you're having
you're
vaginal sex with a girl and her asshole is in your face, then she's really fat.
He asked me the question. I don't, well, maybe not literally in his face, but yeah. I mean, I've certainly been banging a chick doggy style and spread those cheeks and got a nice peek and all of that. Certainly, I don't think that she may be uncomfortable with the idea. I think that there's probably mental blocks in the way that are causing her to be uncomfortable with it instead of just finding intense pleasure with experiencing it. That's
See,
all.
I normally wouldn't ask. I'd give it a tap and see what she did.
Yeah, well, and I wouldn't say.
I mean, not a
you're
tap like penetration.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
certainly
just-
not sexually assaulting the chick to do that, right? You're just exploring the boundaries of her body, and I think that's totally okay, especially when you're engaged in that sort of act.
So you think that there's a difference between having sex with your girlfriend and making a porno where you
I would
you know,
say
there
there
might-
is enormous difference. Yes.
Oh, yes. Professionalism is definitely more valued in the porn industry.
I mean, it goes
whereas-
back to if you're making out with your girlfriend and things are getting pretty intense and it's pretty clear you're going to fuck, you don't have to stop and say, hey, do you consent to this when you take off her shirt? Right?
Sure.
But if you're filming a movie with Jennifer Aniston or insert hot chick here and you're making out in that movie and suddenly you start copping a feel and trying to take off her shirt, you're probably crossing a line.
Maybe.
I mean, unless she's
I mean, it
into
seems to me that the perspective you're coming from is that porn actresses aren't actresses.
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that the lines definitely start to blur when you go into the point when you talk about being unprofessional in an industry that's already unprofessional. If that makes sense.
Well, I think licking ass qualifies as hardcore.
I don't know. Maybe you're right about that. But look, well, here's the real point I wanted to make. I mean, it happened to Jimmy Lifestyles, so I don't care. I'm glad he's not going to be acting in any more pornos because this dude had the most fucking annoying nasally voice of any porn star ever.
I have never watched any porn with the sound on. I don't think.
Well,
so I wouldn't know what these people sound like.
Well, if you do, if there are people, and I'm sure there are people that are listening that do, but this guy has the most recognizable voice in porn of any porn actor, and it's fucking nasally, and it's annoying, and this guy will no longer be around to kill my boners while I'm watching new pornos.
I mean, that may be a NAP violation, killing your boners while you're watching porn.
I never had a problem with bad voices. I just put my hand over her mouth.
I mean, that's a valid approach as well. Shut up, bitch.
I hated this guy's voice.
Of course, some people go home at that point.
Well, I tend to... and you got to think a lot of the people doing this aren't listening to the guy's voice. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you're not listening to it, but you can hear it still if you got the sound on.
I guess, but why turn the sound on? To hear you go, for 27 minutes.
That is nice.
You want to hear that shit. That's like half the fun.
And a lot of men never hear it
everybody
for 26
agrees
minutes
with you.
straight.
I'm not sure I do, but okay. Apparently, the cisgender men in the room agree with you, so I'll go with that. So, okay, fair enough. It is nice to hear that, apparently. So
it is.
I have never given that any thought whatsoever. So good to know. Thanks for the call, Turd. Wow. Did not expect that.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that coming, but you know.
That's what I love about Aria Uncensored. And again, this is only the second episode, so God only knows what will happen next.
Yeah.
But it is fun. Back to the ACLU
Just
event.
remember, Jesus is watching you.
You know, fuck
and
Jesus
touching
too.
himself.
Jesus can lick my asshole too. That's what he can do. You know, it occurred to me earlier today, though, when I was like, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning and I still wasn't sleeping, that Jesus didn't actually sacrifice fucking anything, did he? I mean, he just sort of took a nap for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't his choice, really. I mean,
well, I mean,
what
sure,
was he
was
going to do? Nobody else who they were nailing to that shit had any say about it, so I think he did.
I mean, he was certainly tortured, and, you know, that fucking sucked. Or, I mean,
Well,
if you believe the biblical account to be historically accurate, I don't believe
any of it happen? I mean,
but that's not the point.
I mean, happened is there was a guy named Joseph.
You've got to fucking stop talking over me.
I'm sorry, I'm bad.
What we're assuming here is that the historical context is true and that it did actually happen. But even if it did, you know, all he ultimately did was take a fucking nap for a few days. He had a bit of a coma.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he came back.
I mean, I can do that with ketamine.
I've never tried ketamine. What is that like?
I actually haven't done it, but I've seen people who have done it who have gone to sleep for 3 days.
I know this chick on Facebook who she's
one of the things I want to try. Sorry.
You're good. I mean, it's just when it's consistent that it's kind of problematic.
Sure.
She's a slut, and she's a hot slut, and that's part of the problem, right? I mean, she knows it. So she's all about, I think she calls it boofing ketamine.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing you can do with your butt.
What? that involves your butt?
Huh?
That involves your butt?
Boofing is shoving it up your butt. It's taking it as a suppository. I've seen people do that with wine, where they'll just lay on their belly and somebody will shove a bottle of wine up their ass, and there they lay until they're properly drunk. The only problem is if they lay there too long with a bottle up their ass, they're going to die of alcohol poisoning because you absorb a lot more alcohol from boofing than you do from drinking.
This is something people do?
Yes, it is.
That's stunning.
There are more things on heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy, Horatio.
Oh, yeah. Clearly. Jesus. So boofing refers to taking substances up the ass?
It does.
So, okay. So I'm trying to process this in the context of this chick, right? Who's the only person I've ever heard talk about boofing.
I think vaginal boofing is a thing as well.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah, see, that's possible.
Is that effective?
I've never tried it.
Well, obviously.
I don't have one, and I've never, said, hey, honey, come here for a minute. Let me check how this works. you know.
Have you anally boofed wine?
Have I? No, I haven't.
I don't think I've ever. Actually, I know I've never boofed anything. Then.
Not even boys.
Well, maybe that. Maybe a little.
Okay.
I didn't get chlamydia from being a good girl. I know that.
Right.
Easily curable, by the way, but I'm rather upfront about having had it. So.
Right.
But easily curable. It's just a simple round of antibiotics.
That started with a simple kiss, and now it hurts to take a piss.
No, there were no. There were no symptoms. Thankfully, I didn't even know I had it. I just ended up, at an STD screening. I realized I was called back like a few days later. Like, oh, by the way, you have chlamydia, and my heart sank because I didn't know what the fuck chlamydia was. For all I knew, that was you have syphilis and you're gonna die.
I have to call them back because I went to Planned Parenthood a couple of weeks ago and I haven't heard back from them, which I know that's supposed to be good, but I'm thinking there's a voicemail somewhere.
Well, see, they fucking called me back.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like 3 minutes before I went on the air. And,
oh, wow.
I mean, the HIV, the serious shit, got screened right there on the spot. So I knew I was not going to die of anything anytime soon.
Right.
But then I got a call like 3 minutes before we went on the air one day saying, oh, yeah, by the way, you have chlamydia. And I didn't know anything about chlamydia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for all I knew, that was like telling me I had fucking syphilis, right? So my heart just hits the fucking floor.
Well, it is about the same, isn't it? A shot of penicillin in the ass and you're good to go.
I don't know if syphilis
I think
is curable.
syphilis and gonorrhea are...
I know gonorrhea is curable because they gave me a shot for it
I
at the
think
same
all
time.
of those are bacterial, so a shot of penicillin will fix it, but I'm not sure.
Well, it wasn't penicillin, and I did not test positive for gonorrhea, to be clear. I tested positive for chlamydia, but I did not test positive for gonorrhea, but they figured while they were treating me for one thing, they might as well treat me for the other thing that tends to run alongside chlamydia. But it's a scary fucking sounding word, right? They don't call this happy, occasionally leaky butt, right? Which isn't particularly pleasant itself. But
anal leakage?
It doesn't even do that. It doesn't have any side effects.
Okay.
If you're a female...
Yeah, that's Cholestra has that.
I've never fucking heard of that.
Cholestra is a cholesterol-free oil that they started making potato chips with a few years ago, but it had a number of side effects, including anal leakage, and I don't think it's on the market anymore.
Wait a minute. Time out. Stop. They were selling potato chips that caused anal leakage. Am I getting that correctly?
I believe it is true. I'm looking up Cholestra
Only in
information.
America. That sounds like some of that galactose shit Sarah's always fucking calling about. But yeah, so they told me...
I might have gotten that name wrong, but I think it was right.
They told me I had chlamydia, and I didn't know anything about it. For all I knew, that was it was uncurable, untreatable. For all I knew, I was going to be dead in 6 months, Turned out to be relatively innocuous. A good STI to get, I would say, is chlamydia, because that makes you go, oh shit, I should really fucking be more careful.
Yeah, I mean, my top 3 of STIs has got to be chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis, just due to the the bacterial nature of them. If I had to choose 3 STIs, I would definitely take those ones.
Welcome to Aria Uncensored, for those people just tuning in. I would tend to agree, although syphilis concerns me because it reportedly is what drove Nietzsche insane toward the end of his life, and it's debatable.
Syphilis and gonorrhea will both drive you batshit crazy. I don't think chlamydia will.
No, chlamydia seems to only have effect if you're a genetic girl trying to get pregnant. It will impede your ability to get pregnant, or it will cause birth dysfunctions.
See, now I want chlamydia, just so I don't get anybody knocked up.
Well, I think you can still knock them up, but the baby would have defects.
Oh, God, that's worse.
But see, that's not where I had chlamydia.
Hey, nobody got time for that.
I had chlamydia elsewhere, and that That was why they went ahead and treated me for gonorrhea, right?
You had
Because,
chlamydia elsewhere? Where else can you get it?
well, it's site specific.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So,
that.
Yeah, I didn't either. But the physician who saw me told me that they kept testing her vagina and things like that, testing her pee, when ultimately it was a matter of, it's site specific. So if she's licking pussy, she's going to get it in her throat. Where if I'm taking it up the ass, that's where I'm going to get it. Or where if I'm fucking
wow.
chicks,
So,
I'm
and
gonna get it
even
in my
drinking
penis.
won't get it out of your throat? I mean, my reaction would be just, let's get pits drunk. That ought to kill anything in my system if it doesn't kill me.
That's what threw me off. If chlamydia is this innocuous as a bacterial infection goes, it seems to stand that the body would ultimately there's stuff happening. What's happening? Just trolls.
Just somebody playing music. They didn't make it on the air.
That's so
I don't think
boring.
they know.
Yeah.
Guys, we have like the ability to take your calls before you go on, just so you know.
That is good to know. How are we doing? Anything special?
Oh, what, as far as like viewers and such?
Yeah.
Let's see here, because remember, I did put on the mature tag for
Right.
this show.
That's certainly not going to help.
But all that said, let's do a quick refresh here on Twitch. Actually, I didn't have that information pulled up here, so let's.
I don't like that about D Live. It doesn't seem to.
We're doing good actually on D Live. 18.
Okay. That's
18
pretty
viewers
good.
there. That's actually, I would say, a little bit more than we had tonight for Free Talk Live there. And then 29 on Twitch. So
Wow.
you're kicking ass.
Nice.
Awesome. Good job, Rich. High five.
And of course, you got residuals coming. I'm sure people will watch this in the future.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I kind of hope not.
Really?
Well, we've been talking about chlamydia and gonorrhea and various STIs. And God, I don't know what the fuck we were just talking about before we got on that.
Chlamydia.
Do you?
Oh, what we were talking about before chlamydia.
Preferably.
Okay, let's see. Something brought us to chlamydia.
I think it was, I don't know what the fuck it was actually, but I mean, the STI shaming has certainly got to stop. If you're sexually active and you're under the age of 30, you're going to get fucking chlamydia. It's like a 3% infection rate at this point.
Well, apparently I've got the old man maturity because or the old man immunity because I did horrible things when I lived in Manchester and I came up clean as the whistle. Go figure.
Well, I didn't, but
Yes,
I had
know.
Grindr installed for a while. So maybe that has something to do with it. Of course, I
had
have
Grindr
never
installed for a while, but I never went out on a date.
I have never had unprotected sex with just some random fucking person. I think that goes without fucking saying. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
that
have.
goddamn stupid.
I'm not stupid.
I haven't.
I'm stupider than that.
see, that's what gives me pause. It's like, okay, but apparently, I mean, condoms are only 99% effective. So if you have sex with 100 guys, and I have not had sex with 100 guys,
Nor
but I mean, just playing the odds there, eventually you're going to get chlamydia.
Well, I don't know if that's the case.
Especially here in Keene, where there is a college town. You know,
I don't know if that's the case. I think that what it is that condoms reduces your chances of getting something to 1/100th of what they were. So if you would ordinarily have sex with 100 guys and get chlamydia 3 times, then with a condom, you would have to have sex with 10,000 guys to get chlamydia 3 times. I mean, not that that's a relationship goal for most people, but
I don't have the mental presence right now to do the math on that. I think you're technically correct.
10,000 is 100 times 100, so that's
yeah, I feel that. But the numbers are skewed when you start having sex with people who are college age. And that's certainly true here in Keene.
Certainly everybody I was sleeping with is college age.
And that was the point they made at Planned Parenthood is that, most of the people they see who are infected are between the ages of like 18 and 30. And it's because they don't bother with STI screenings. They just assume that they're clean. So they assume if they have sex with someone, then that person is clean as well.
Right.
Even though none of them have actually gone through the process of having an STI screening.
See, I get it every 6 months whether I need it or not.
See, I'm not that vigilant. I'm pretty vigilant, especially in these periods when I'm sexually active. But see, the whole grinder thing was unusual for me because it wasn't a fucking possibility where I lived in Mississippi. It just wasn't. Right. Craigslist was the only possibility, and that was before they got rid of the whole "this is causing sex trafficking" kind of bullshit, right? I fucking loved Craigslist. My boyfriend in Mississippi I had met through Craigslist. And I feel kind of awkward calling him a boyfriend now that he's come out as trans.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah. It was just a whole goddamn mess, man.
So it was a trans girl dating a trans boy.
No, it was just
me
dating a boy.
Not at the time, but it was a trans girl dating a boy who has now become a trans girl.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. Awkward would be more the terminology I use. What was really awkward about this person
was your boyfriend at the time, but I have the same problem with Chelsea Manning, where if I'm talking about when she was actually doing the intrusion, should I say he or should I say she? Because
they actually covered that.
She was going by
ACLU
Bradley back in the day,
and they actually agreed with me on it inadvertently because they didn't know my position on it. Where if you're referring to me when I was 14 years old, yeah, absolutely, Kate, say he, because I was presenting as a male then. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be offended if you refer to me as he from fucking yesterday, though.
Right.
So I'm kind of unusual in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But for most people, I think that they should hold on to their experiences as how they were, rather than trying to redefine them retroactively and say, no, I was really a girl then. So when you talk about me playing on the Little League team with a bunch of boys, you should say she. But no, you were fucking presenting as a dude then, whether you wanted to be or not, whether you had gender identity dysphoria then or not, you were presenting as a fucking dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you want from people, really, is what it ultimately comes down to.
Well, that's the thing. And I'll say the GameStop girl,
she can suck a fucking dick, is what she can do.
She can suck a fucking dick because for being an asshole about it, because she was an asshole about it, but it was very obvious from looking at her that she was trying to present as female, even if she
wasn't
did
wearing any fucking
job.
makeup. I'm wearing fucking makeup.
That I don't know. You're
I'm
definitely
wearing badass makeup. I
Indeed.
am like one of the top 10 in fucking Keen when it comes to makeup. I'm fucking good at this shit, man.
Is that by weight or volume?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. But one of the things I've noticed, though, is that no guy has ever complimented my makeup, ever. Ever. But I've gotten tons of compliments from chicks about my makeup. I don't know what that means, but it is a thing that has happened.
See, that's funny. One of the things that I enjoy about chilling with trans girls is, like, if you open a door for them, they beam. Or, you know, if you flirt with them a little bit, you know, even if they don't really like you, they're going to play along a little bit because they're happy that somebody is flirting with them. And that's been lost with cis women, I think, where cis women, if you flirt with them and, you know, if you're not Fabio, then it's like, how dare this asshole look at me like I'm attractive, you know, and I'm not Fabio. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree. You know, all I fucking want. Look, all I fucking want. If you want to buy my heart forever, all you have to fucking do is buy me a goddamn teddy bear. That's fucking all.
Really?
Through my whole fucking life as a trans person, all I've wanted was for some fucking dude to give me a goddamn teddy bear for me to fucking sleep with. It has never happened.
Really?
And it will never happen, I don't think. Because, I mean, every girl wants to be, you know, that sort of princess. I will never be treated like a fucking princess. It's not going to fucking happen. So that's something I have to make peace with. But a goddamn teddy bear is really fucking simple.
See, that's kind of funny because, you know, if you're dating a girl that's trans, I mean, you're there to kind of make her happy. And what's going to make her happy is if you treat her like a girl.
Yeah,
and that means getting her, you know, doing that kind of thing, you know?
That little simple shit, you know, that cis women experience all the fucking time and don't think anything about. Yeah. To a trans woman, it means the fucking world.
And to me, there's a definite difference because, like, I can have sex with a guy, it doesn't bother me, but I won't kiss him. I can kiss a trans girl.
I don't kiss hookers.
I won't. See, I've had hookers as roommates, so it's like once you've been living with them for a couple of months, it's like, you get kind of affectionate, and that's nice,
I've never
it's like,
had sex. Actually, that's not even true. I have licked the ass of a hooker. In fact.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice. How'd it taste?
I don't know about how nice.
It tastes the same, or
it tastes the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my experience.
It was a bit. I mean, there was a bit of a mental block there. To get back to the topic that we were talking about earlier with these mental blocks, is that I firmly believe that every individual out there, male, female, gay, straight, bisexual, whatever, would like having their ass licked. The problem isn't the physical sensation. The problem is all these mental blocks that make them so inhibited, so uncomfortable with having someone so intimately right fucking there.
Yeah.
At this extremely intimate part of their body. And that mental block prevents them from experiencing pleasure from it.
And that's kind of why I founded a church, as strange as that sounds. But I mean, the Abrahamic religions, to me, one of the worst things about them is the idea of original sin, the idea that you should be ashamed of your humanity, ashamed of your body, ashamed of the fact that you piss and you shit and you puke and you fart. And, all people do that because we're kind of inefficient machines, but it's a miracle we work anyway, so get over it. It's sad to me that people are so inhibited about their bodies. So it's like, when I this girl that I dated, it's like the first thing I did when we started fooling around is I went down on her, so she knew it's okay with me that she was carrying that thing around. It's not something I'm afraid of, and that people, I hate that people are ashamed of who they are and their bodies and their sexuality and their lives.
I certainly do too.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the tragic thing, is somebody just being ashamed of who they are. And that's something I can relate to on a personal level, you know? And
Give me music.
Anything is good.
Bliss and So Addicted, maybe?
Tool's not...
No Tool, right? You're mad at them, right?
I'm not mad at them. I just don't want them to flag our content, Well,
there's a good chance anything that's copywritten will be flagged.
Well, not Tool. Not their not singles.
You want to try one?
Yeah, something like Triad or Parable.
We'll find out.
Or Parabola.
Okay, if you're in a band, you should appreciate it if people use your music, even if you don't make the quarter of a penny off that play.
That's exactly my perspective on it. And for the most part, I mean, Tool has agreed.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. This is Aria Uncensored. I really have to let some of this wine out and have a cigarette.
By the way, the chat room said we hit 50 on Twitch.
Nice.
At some point.
Yeah, awesome. That's almost up there with Shimo versus Nasi. Well, it's about halfway there. This is Aria Uncensored. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. I've got to go smoke. Welcome back to Aria Uncensored. It's been a hell of a show so far. I'm loving it. I'm loving Aria Uncensored. It's so much fun. I'm so glad
I am beside myself with happiness.
What?
I am beside myself with happiness.
And I want to give a shout out to the Arab Andy troll group for giving me the fucking idea in the first place. However accidentally they did it. They kept showing this picture of me on Call to Freedom when I was wearing this really cute fucking green dress during the middle of the summer, where I had a nip slip, and they just kept fucking sharing that screenshot everywhere. So finally, I was like, they think it's embarrassing me, but it's not, because I don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah, sure.
I would do this nude if it wouldn't be an absolutely certain ban from Twitch and DLive.
So,
would be.
Do you have a different feeling when you're taking your shirt off than you had before? You started taking hormones.
Well, I mean,
and
I've got
some
boobs
more
now.
Mass. So okay, so that's
they're
does
not
it feel
huge.
risque to you, or does it feel like I've done this all my life?
Both. To an extent. It's a really weird thing because I was shirtless through most of my life. Like if I just sat around the house or something like that, I wore either A shirts, what they call wife beaters in the South. I wore either those.
I can't see you in a wife beater. That would be funny.
Or I wore no shirt whatsoever. Right? But then suddenly that changed. And look, I freely acknowledge that my boobs are not big. That comes back to the hormones conversation that we were having earlier, where we didn't actually get into the full answer, but I was ordering them from China, which was extremely unreliable.
Okay, the meds, not the boobs.
Right.
Okay. I misinterpreted that when I first ordered it. I was like, wait a minute.
I would order them, and like 3 weeks later, the estrogen would come. Sometimes there would be extremely long shipping delays where I wouldn't have any estrogen whatsoever. And I was not on any spironolactone through this. And again, as we were talking about then, testosterone is such a powerful hormone. And if you start pouring fucking estrogen into your body, your testicles, whether you like it or not, are going to up your testosterone production.
Really? So they like fight back.
They do fight back. That's why the T blocker is absolutely necessary. And I didn't know any of this.
The girl will not replace us. The girl will not replace us, they say.
I didn't know any of this until I had gone to Planned Parenthood and had an expert in this exact fucking subject explain it to me. And that's why, you conservatives, you Republicans can eat my dick with this fucking anti-abortion shit, because Planned Parenthood, and I didn't even know this, they do a lot more. And I realize you Republicans, you don't give a fuck about transgenderism either. But this was extremely,
no more than they care about born babies.
No, this was extremely valuable information to me as a human being. And if you would attempt to deny me that, and look, I agree, the government shouldn't subsidize this shit. That's why I pay out of pocket. It's rather expensive. It's like $180 per fucking visit. And no, it was $270 for the first visit. Like it's $180 after that. But luckily, I only have to go once a year.
And what sucks is you have to jump from falsehood to falsehood.
But I was on no spironolactone.
To be accepted.
I was on no spironolactone whatsoever for like the first year of taking estrogen. And I was only taking 4 milligrams a day, which is a low dosage anyway for someone of my age. Anything over 18 years old, if you're taking less than 8 milligrams or less than 6 milligrams, you're wasting your fucking time. That's why one of the trans people tonight who was talking about taking a low dosage of estrogen, that was at the ACLU event. I understood that to mean 2 milligrams because I've been in these similar sorts of positions. It may have been up to 4 milligrams, but it couldn't have been more than 4. It was more likely 2 milligrams of estrogen per day. It didn't do a fucking thing. And she talks about, well, look, one day I was looking to the mirror and I saw these curves begin to appear. Bitch, no, you didn't. You saw things that were already there, maybe, but you didn't see these curves begin to appear because that's not how fucking hormones work. And I know this now. None of this ever appeared in my independent research that allowed me to have the medical capabilities to diagnose myself and to order my own prescriptions in the first place.
Right, because of course that's an aspect of the war on drugs. They hide any information that involves things that you're not supposed to have access to.
Estrogen is a fucking controlled substance.
which is kind of crazy when you think that every woman in America and every man in America, I think, has a certain level of estrogen, right?
Every single human being.
So every single human being is committing a felony because they're all walking around with estrogen.
Yep.
You know? It's just in their bloodstream.
But there were periods where the shipping delays and things like that, because I was ordering them from China, a pharmacy in China, which shipped them from Germany, which caused all sorts of shipping delays. There would be weeks where I didn't have any estrogen whatsoever. So those periods don't even count, right, in the grand scheme of things. Because
and would you slide back during those periods? Would you find that
there were
you were losing progress, or
no? Because anything over the age of 18, anything over the age of puberty, if it's not at least a year of it, it's not going to have any effect whatsoever. Like, I've been on spironolactone now consistently and estrogen consistently for about 4 months. That's the total end-all be-all of it. For about 4 months, I've been consistently on testosterone blockers, which are critical,
right,
and which never showed up in any of my research, but which apparently is true because I had an expert on the fucking subject tell me this. So I've been on testosterone blockers now for about 4 months, and my left boob it's an actual fucking boob. I mean, it's a small boob, right? But it is an actual boob. This one, not so much. There's some boob disparity there.
Most
this is an
women
actual boob.
are asymmetrical.
Yeah, they are.
Nearly all of them, and I don't know. I don't even know if I'm symmetrical. I don't know. Let's find out. Am I? Are my boobs even?
I don't fucking know, man. Maybe-ish. I'd have to study them more in depth than I'm willing to do on the air to make that determination.
Okay.
But like, this one is an actual fucking boob. It's a small cup, but it's an actual fucking boob. This one is still in the phase where it could be a man boob. And look, I know I have now lost half of my balls to my piercings. That's why I told them I didn't want these little short fucking barbells, but that's all they had, so that's what I bought.
Did you say you've lost half of your balls?
I did. There were 4.
Oh! You're talking about the balls at the end of your barbells.
Yes.
So one of them is inside where it doesn't go.
What?
One of them is inside the nipple. Is that where you've lost it, or
no? One of them. God, I hope not. One of them fell into the floor at some point while I was walking about going.
Oh,
okay.
My day. I was thinking maybe the end had been pulled inside, and that's what you meant by losing your balls.
No.
But you actually don't have a ball on the end of that one.
I did. But
you
know,
did, but
it worked its way off, and it fell into the floor at some point, and I never found it. The first one I lost the fucking day I bought these fucking barbells. The fucking day, because that's nipple piercings for you, right?
I wouldn't know.
They don't seem to want to fucking stay on. Look, my nipples have been pierced so many goddamn times. It's fucking embarrassing. And the reason I took them out the most recent time is because I began growing boobs, and they started becoming crooked as a result. So when I went to have them redone, I was like, look, really cool shout out to the Dark Mark Tattoo Place over here on West Street here in Keene, New Hampshire. They were super fucking cool. They addressed me as she and her. They had absolutely no fucking weird shit going on. And it was just totally fucking cool. I was like, look, my nipples have been pierced before several fucking times, but they are becoming crooked now as a result of not perfectly symmetrical boob growth. And they're still crooked because when I went to have this redone, they didn't fucking listen. Even though they were really fucking cool, they didn't listen to what I was saying, so they just sort of shoved the needle back through, and it went right back through where the hole had been instead of where I wanted it to be, right? Which would be fucking level.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it just took the path of least resistance, and they were like, well, we can take them back out and redo them again. No, the fuck you can't. Because
yeah, that hurt once. It's going to hurt again.
That's really fucking
painful. I've never had the stones to get piercings. I've got 2 piercings in my left ear, and that's like it.
I had a Prince Albert at one point.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Pierced right through the head.
Wow. So what was
very fucking painful?
I would imagine ain't nobody got time for that.
Girls fucking loved it though.
Did they?
They did. The only problem I had with it is that it meant fucking no anal sex. Because I would never be able to guarantee that it healed enough and that there was no open wound enough to get infected or something like that with fecal matter or whatever. I don't want to be overly grotesque here on the show.
Right. Yeah,
But, I mean,
you didn't want to get Santorum in it, is what you're saying.
Santorum.
Santorum is the frothy mixture of feces and semen that results from anal sex. You didn't know that? They named it after the presidential candidate.
No, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
check out Urban Dictionary. That's how Santorum is defined. Oh my God, I've shocked her on her own show. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, actually, it was Ian who, when Santorum, the candidate, was in New Hampshire, who asked him, "Have you Googled your name?" And got just a brilliant reaction shot.
It's a cum shart, is what I'm getting, right?
Huh?
It's a cum shart.
Cum chart?
Shart.
Shart?
You know what a shart is, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, like halfway between shit and fart?
Yeah.
Well, it's that, but it's kind of I mean, this stuff has been mixed and churned, and
okay,
so
I don't need the visual. Okay.
Hey, nobody.
So, yeah. So anyway, I took that out a number of years ago. I used to be a lot wilder than I am today. No, I don't. Shit, that's not even true. I'm still fucking wild. I'm just more reserved about to whom I'm willing to expose it. And I say that while saying this shit on a show that's streaming to Twitch and D-Live, so...
Yeah, it's on record now.
It's a nuance.
We hope you know that this will go down on your permanent record.
That's okay. That's totally okay. Look, it can go... I don't even think Prince Albert was... Is it Prince Albert? I don't remember now. Why am I not remembering it?
See, funny thing is,
it is a Prince Albert when you have it pierced through the head and through the base at the bottom. That's a Prince Albert.
Yeah, that's a Prince Albert. It like comes out through the pee hole.
Well, it goes in through the pee hole.
Okay, it depends on how you look at it.
Well, that's how they pierce it.
Oh! See, I've never thought of it on that practical a matter because that makes me cringe. Yeah, you can see the look on Ian's face over here. Oh, good God, he looks like he's about to...
What made you say to yourself, that's something I gotta have?
And that's something I want to experience. I mean, I can see wanting to have it, but being willing to go through the experience of getting... Okay, go ahead.
See, that was exactly it, though. I wanted to have it, and I was willing to make that sacrifice in order to have it because I knew that chicks love it. Because when you're fucking a chick doggy style, right, and you have that piercing, it does it for her.
Really?
Yeah. It's like wearing a permanent French tickler, right?
Really?
All of a sudden, Rich is
okay, I
interested.
might change my mind on this. Because, more orgasms are more orgasms. And, at my age, you need good reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not saying he got it done for me, they're not going to come back. I got like 23-year-olds.
So, I mean, that was ultimately the reasoning behind it. I was sleeping with a lot of different chicks then because I was much younger and much more sexually active.
Yeah, I know how that is.
And that was the... well, I'm still sexually active, just not with as many chicks. In fact, I was talking to Derek J. Freeman of Victimless Crime Spree about this a number of weeks ago, which... I
love Derek.
Yeah, I do too. I used to characterize myself when I first came out as trans as a lesbian. I'm not even sure that's even true anymore. I'm not sure I would have a relationship with a chick if I could pursue one. I think I'm just into dudes.
See, that's the thing is when Camille started taking hormones, she had never been interested in boys before. I was the first boy she ever slept with. So it was kind of strange for her. She had a wife before me because she considered herself a lesbian. But the thing is, apparently the estrogen moves things along. You start
the estrogen makes you a bottom, is what you're saying?
It seemed that was that. Well, I've had two people say that to me now. I've got a very small sample size.
Well, I was a bottom before I was on estrogen.
But it's 100% for my sample.
I was bisexual, but because of where I was at and the fear of judgment that leads to things like bud sex and things like that, these people who engage in overtly homosexual acts without acknowledging the homosexuality of them.
Do you consider butt sex with a girl a homosexual act?
No,
Okay, I was gonna say because I don't.
He didn't understand what you said.
Okay, that's bud, B-U-D sex.
What's bud sex?
Oh dear God. It's this thing that,
I mean, I smoke weed with chicks all the time before I.
No. It's this thing
Okay.
that's happening in rural communities, conservative communities, where these guys will engage in sex with one another, but they're totally not gay. They're totally
Oh, it's like the
straight.
down low for black guys.
For white guys.
Well, yeah, but the down low is kind of the black equivalent of that. So yeah, the
Sure.
black guys have the down low and white guys have bud sex. So do you actually use buds? How
No.
is there herb involved?
It's bud as in friend.
Oh,
I don't know.
buddy
Yeah.
sex.
Have you smoked so much weed you've forgotten that?
Well, I did not. I did not interpret that. When I hear bud, I think bud.
But that's what they meant. You know, it's two friends engaging in blowjobs and presumably anal sex, but they didn't go into that particular detail. But they have no emotional attachment to one another, even though they talk about how they totally they have emotional attachment to one another.
Sure,
that's fucking clear from what they say.
Mhm.
But they say they don't, and you know it's not to.
He's my friend. I'm just helping him out.
Yeah.
Well, to
Just
me,
helping out a friend.
And I'll be hurt if he moves on to someone else because I like spending time with him. But we ain't emotionally involved or nothing like that.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. If I'm having sex with a girl, there's always some level of emotional involvement, whether or not it's
I
a
have been
romantic
fucked by total strangers
involvement.
without any emotional involvement
I thought
whatsoever.
you said you'd never had sex with a stranger.
I said I've never had unprotected sex with a
Oh,
stranger.
whoa. Oh, okay. So you always carried a gun.
Sure, let's go with that.
I don't blame you. Yeah, it's a whole new world
Actually,
when you're wandering around unarmed.
Actually, I was about to have sex with this guy once, and I asked him if he had protection. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, let me lock the door." And right. So I said, "You know what? Wait until I leave to do that." So I left. If I mention protection, your thought is, "Oh yeah, I need to lock the door." No, thank you. Nope, I'm good on that. You can get HIV if you want, but
Yeah. See, I don't know. I see that as a funny joke, but
well, it was sure. In hindsight,
depends on
it was
how
a funny joke,
serious
but
it was.
it literally happened to me.
right.
So it wasn't funny at the time. I was like, "Oh my God, I've got to extricate myself from this situation before this guy who clearly has unprotected sex with strange people
Mm-hmm.
tries to fucking put his penis in me."
Right.
I'm good on that.
Mm-hmm. I can see how that would be an issue.
It would definitely be an issue. But again, you know, honestly, I uninstalled Grindr before I found out I had chlamydia. I imagine the two are related, to be totally honest.
I can see how one could lead to the other.
Yeah, I would assume that it was a result of having Grindr, and it wasn't always a dead end.
It
Only
wasn't
like-
always a dead end.
No, only like 89% of the time
Okay.
was it a complete and total dead end.
Well, I mean, it wasn't so much of a dead end.
Actually,
that you couldn't
89%
find
is
yourself
not
a case
high
of
enough.
chlamydia.
Like 98% of the time, it was a dead end. Like maybe one out of every
Like,
50
what was
times.
a dead end?
A guy who masturbated and passed out. That
Huh.
was a dead end. And,
Yeah, I can see how that would be a disappointing date.
and it happened way more than you would think. Well, I mean, you would be talking to this guy on Grindr, right? And then you're talking about, oh, this is what let's go do this. We're like 3 miles apart. Awesome. You're available. I'm available. Let's make this happen. And then suddenly,
I
nothing.
came.
Nothing. Right. No fucking response to your last message or whatever.
So he didn't masturbate with you. He was still at his house.
Right.
Is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. And the first time you're like, all right, that was weird. Maybe they just lost cell phone signal or something. But the second time and the third time and the fourth time, you're like, okay, these people are just using this dating app as a means to
Isn't it a
engage in this
fucking
sort of
app?
yeah, it's
Okay.
a fucking app. But they're just using it as a means of engaging in these sort of fantasies that they have, whereupon they masturbate and fall asleep, and you never hear from them again. So
well, it could just be regarded as an extreme case of premature ejaculation.
Sure, but it happens too frequently for that. Right. And I mean, like 98% of the time, easily, that's what happens with chat apps like Grindr and Tinder. So eventually it just became a waste of time, but it wasn't always a dead end. And I tend to think that's probably, I don't know, what do you think? Yeah, might as well. Turd Ferguson is on the line again, this time calling in via telephone. I think doesn't he normally call in via Discord? What are you doing, Turd? Discord has such clear quality.
Well, just because I have my phone right next to me, I wanted to make it quick. But
fair enough.
I just want to know if when Rich Paul had sex with this transsexual, if he sucked his cock or not.
Yes, it did.
Sucked her cock.
Her cock.
Hers.
Yes. We're tolerant here on Aria Uncensored, and I take offense to you not saying her penis.
I did say her.
Yeah, it's a confusing thought in your head though. I sucked her dick. What?
That is her big. That is absolutely her big, giant, hard dick. It is her dick.
Yeah, her big phallic unit.
Yeah, but I never bottomed for her. She couldn't do it.
Wait, what?
I never bottomed for her though. She couldn't do it.
I mean, a dick doesn't have to be hard for you to suck it, but it does have to be hard for anal penetration.
This is true, and when you've got a system full of estrogen, achieving an erection is, well, an achievement.
It is. It is.
I guess that's a really good point. I never thought about that. Well,
yeah.
Geez, that answers that question.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the call. Glad we could spread some knowledge here on the
among other things
on the show. So yes, her penis does need to be hard to engage in anal intercourse.
Yeah.
So that is good to know for anybody who needed to know that. Now you know. So anyway, back to this shit. I don't even know where I put it.
Back to the shit?
Yeah, something along those lines. So I went to this ACLU thing today, right?
Mm.
And because we never got into fucking.
Have you even said what it was supposed to be?
What was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be a trans Ask Me Anything. And what it was a ask me anything about my past, ask me anything about everything and anything that was not under my control. But don't ask me anything about how I actually feel regarding opinions and politics or anything like that. Because the only question that we had in regard to those kinds of subjects was, what do you think about gender queer or gender neutral babies and babies being raised to be gender neutral rather than having a gender forced upon them?
See, I think that's stupid personally. Just because, 90% of people are going to turn out with a personality that matches their genitals. And that's an easier state to be in. Being cis is much easier. So I would think that until somebody comes to you and says things aren't right, it would be the same as assuming a woman wasn't born with two uteruses. Although some of them were.
See, I don't agree or disagree. To me, it's more of an epistemological question than that, because they proposed this particular answer regarding gender being a box that people are placed in.
Well, one gender doesn't have boxes.
Well, they do. They're either placed in the male box and they have to perform to these stereotypes, or they're placed in the female box and they have to perform to this other set of characteristics and stereotypes. And to me, that whole thing is just what she was ultimately advocating was that a person should be free to move from one box to the other. And okay, I guess if we're going to have these boxes, sure, a male person should be free to be able to place themselves into the mailbox and so on.
In the mailbox?
Whatever. You know what I was fucking getting at.
Okay, sure. I do.
I'm distracted by several things. And a female person should be able to place themselves into the mailbox if that's what they so choose. But what she was ultimately arguing wasn't the elimination of these boxes as she imagined herself to be. She was like, oh, gender is just a social construct and we need to eliminate it because it's just these set of boxes that we place people into. And I feel more comfortable as a female So what she was essentially saying was that, you know, she wasn't happy with being shoved into the male box.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to be shoved into the female box. And that doesn't eliminate the problem with the boxes. The problem is the fucking boxes. Stop shoving people into fucking boxes, and you won't have these people who are like, oh, well, I want to be in this other box. They'll go, oh, I'm going to break this fucking box and go out and be my own fucking person. I don't give a fuck what you fucking think, because fuck you. Who are you to define me?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean there, and that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, you know, you just are what you are.
You are.
Know? People are weird. All people are weird, and they're getting weirder. I mean, we're all changing over time.
I don't know that we're being
weird.
I don't know that we're becoming weirder.
Well,
but
the thing is,
we're becoming more open about our weirdness.
I think that's true, but I think we're also, I mean, one would expect that a species like ours, as it got larger, it would develop more and more genetic diversity. And of course, a lot of those things aren't going to work, and they'll die and never produce children, and we'll never see their like again. But, you know, I guess that's what I mean by seeing weird.
Well, that's an interesting take, because Dawkins would argue that it's not simply genes that determine the paths of future generations. It's these things that he categorized as memes. And I don't mean Facebook things, anything like that, but culture. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, I mean, I certainly am attempting to influence the culture of future generations, even if I'm not actually busting nuts into the gene pool. But we're joined now by Tony in South Jersey, who seems to be calling in with a fake voice. Tony, what's on your mind? Welcome to Aria Uncensored.
I want to know, like, the Fortnite, like, pedophile, people target a lot of kids on there. What is your thoughts?
What the fuck did he just say?
Something about Fortnite and pedophiles.
Like, if you know Fortnite kid games, it's like play. There's a lot of like old pedophilia. What is your thoughts?
I don't know.
Is he saying pedophiles like to play Fortnite?
Is that your contention?
I
thought pedophiles like to have sex with children. Have I been using the wrong definition?
Hold on.
Do you know, like, pedophile, they're on there talking little kid playing Fortnite? I don't know. What do you think?
So Fortnite is being used by pedophiles to groom young children, right?
Yes.
What do I think about that?
Yes.
I don't really think anything about that. Having a nephew.
I was on here for about like 10 minutes waiting. Is that what you have?
Yeah, I am sorry to disappoint you. You asked me a question out of the fucking blue that I was not expecting about a game that I have never fucking played. My nephew plays
Fortnite is a game where like you play and like kids play.
I know what Fortnite is. My nephew plays it.
So you said you don't know.
I did not say I don't know what fucking Fortnite is. I said you asked me a question that I was not prepared for. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how I phrased it a moment ago. I was not expecting
you have to prepare
during
next
this
time.
conversation.
You need to prepare for yourself. You are fucking ugly in the face.
We can hang up with this guy now. Thank you, though. So, yeah, my nephew plays Fortnite. He's a 9-year-old, I think, and I would break the neck of anyone who attempted to groom him. I love to groom him. Like pedophiles, like they groom kids. I love my nephew to death. The greatest tragedy in my life is coming out as trans and losing access to be friends with my nephew, because we played a lot of Super Smash Brothers. We played a lot of Mario Kart. We played a lot of Super Mario 3D World. We played a lot of fucking games together.
So was your family pretty shitty when you came out to you?
Yeah, and that's another thing.
I don't know any of your backstory.
That's another thing that was a problem with the ACLU event tonight, was that out of the 4 of them, they all told their filial backstories, and only one of them even lost a father to this, a father and a stepmother. I lost every single fucking member of my family.
Wow.
Every single one. What you see here in the studio, this is my fucking family. That's all the family I fucking have
Works
left.
for me.
Yeah, thanks. And it was equally true of friends as well. You know, they start out like, oh yeah, we'll support you. We're still friends with you. We don't judge you. We don't care any of that. But they drop off one by fucking one. And a number of the trans people there tonight at the ACLU event, they did allude to this, and they did point out that, a lot of your friends, they will slowly drop off and just no longer become a part of the world. Every goddamn one of my friends did that.
Yeah,
no exceptions.
And to some extent, I could understand it because when I was seeing this girl, it was like even walking around with her in public, I knew that I was in jeopardy. And I didn't have to be in jeopardy. I could walk away. She couldn't.
And this was Mississippi, where I slept with a loaded fucking shotgun on the headboard of my bed. Right. And it's the reason that I, Mark, and Ian have this disagreement about how to handle home intruders, because for so much of the past 4 or 5 years of my life, if I woke up and there was somebody in my house, they were there to fucking kill me and beat me to death with baseball bats and chains and drag me behind trucks, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a matter of assuming that they were just there to rob me. It was a matter of, this motherfucker's there to kill me. But we're joined now by John via Indiana, who seems to want to have a conversation about taxes. John, what's on your mind?
Oh, hey, how you doing? I called in, thought it was an interesting show, and then I heard the wait message, like on hold. And I'm 19, so I'm paying taxes, and the way to legally exit, income tax. I was wondering if you could give me a little more information, if it's up to you.
I am not able to. I do know the commercial to which you're alluding. I don't know what exactly was playing on LRN.FM.
Nigger.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was certainly not that. There actually is an advertisement there about how you can escape the American tax system, how it only applies to the average American within a very limited jurisdiction. I don't know the details of that particular advertisement.
Funny thing about that guy is he didn't even sound like a child. I mean, until the end.
Yeah.
Mostly it's children that do that bullshit.
Well, it's interesting that it's now close to midnight and we're still getting these trolls on Twitch. It makes me wonder how we're doing as far as the numbers go. But we also have Victor from Chicago who is calling about fascism. Another totally unrelated topic. So, Victor.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Hey, it wasn't actually fascism. It was fashion statement. I think the guy got it wrong. I just want to say that your name is Aria, right?
It is Aria. Aria de Mezzo.
You look fabulous, because I was just scrolling through YouTube's recent streaming events, and I saw your stream just with your hair and your makeup. And that actually looks really extravagant, and I've never seen that actually. And you actually look really beautiful.
Doesn't
you're just so beautiful that actually makes me want to ditch niggers and just fuck you.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, the poor guys.
So lame. It's just so lame. I mean, come on. We all made some lame phone calls when we were kids, right? But nothing ever that lame.
I always prank called the police. I still do. I do. I'll call them up and tell them they're the reason we need AR-15s. Now, that actually takes a pair of stones, because they have allies in my town that might just roll up on me. So if you boys want to move up to some kind of activism that requires some stones, why don't you call the police and tell them they're the reason you need AR-15s? That takes a set of balls.
It does indeed. But I mean, we don't just need AR-15s. We need AK-47s. We need tanks.
M16s also. Let's go full auto. It's about time.
Absolutely.
That law was never constitutional.
We need stealth bombers. We need recreational nukes. We need all of the weapons. Yeah, I'm a member of the Bear Nukes Caucus of the Libertarian Party. I firmly believe that if anybody is going to have a particular weapon, it should not be limited to just the government. And that individuals with the means and the capability should be able to own those weapons if they can acquire them. But we're joined now by Charles. Charles, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going? What's on your mind?
Not too bad. So I actually was pretty disappointed to hear about the Assange arrest, because the Ecuadorian government had been pretty helpful in actually keeping him protected and allowing him to actually, make these subsequent drops. And it makes me actually think how the United States government actually should be arresting niggers.
Oh, Jesus. Kill him.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking it's an unfortunate thing, but I think at this point we have to just stop taking calls, don't you think? Yeah. Good try, Twitch trolls. Of course, you're not going out on LRN.FM or anything like that. You got your moment in fame on Twitch, I guess, for saying that, and then you got your call dropped.
Maybe we should be asking them how they're listening. I'll start.
That's an interesting thing. I would like to know where these assholes are coming from.
Oh, they're coming from Twitch.
They're all twitchy?
So continue calling in so that we can ask you how you're listening before we drop your call. Unless, of course, you have a valid point, because many people do, and you can give us a call at 603-283-6160.
Now, is there a way that you can, like, mark people who have already called in repeatedly as, this is a cool guy, this is somebody we can deal with, so it's just in your head?
Well, we can if they do.
If they all sound the same to me, dude. They all sound like fucking 15-year-old males. And, you know, it's like.
So maybe we should just.
They might be as old as in their mid-20s. Who knows?
Right. Okay. Because I was just wondering, it would be nice if there was a list of, like, certified listeners that you could.
Well, that's effectively
get
what
on.
the
Maybe
Discord
we should say
is.
you have to put down a $5 deposit to go on the air, and when you get off the air, you get your $5 back if you didn't fuck up.
Like that grocery store, Aldi, where you get the quarter back if you put the cart away.
Well, they had those in Grand Central Station back in the 80s, and when I was in my military academy, I had a 3-hour layover in Grand Central Station, so I'd spend the whole time running around grabbing luggage carts and bringing them back to the racks and picking up the quarters. So, hey, it's a good thing.
It is. I mean, whatever
the market
works.
incentivized you.
It's true.
We do still have one person.
Want to take him?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to.
Take
I
him,
expect
he's
it's going to be the
yours.
same. Are you there? What's up?
Hello?
What's on
Can
your
you hear
mind?
me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
What's on your
up?
mind?
It's Jimmy here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
That's great to hear. So, I saw your title from YouTube as well, the whole WikiLeaks file dump, the Assange blowback and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
yeah.
okay. Yeah, because my YouTube channel does still have WikiLeaks and Assange mentioned in the title.
Okay. So, I just heard briefly you were talking about it, but we can also discuss other things. I'm open to stuff. Recently, the Notre Dame burn, for example, which was, of course, terrible.
It was terrible. You know, I don't have a lot of sentimental attachment to buildings, but I did see a tweet from Mark Dice where he showed a number of people celebrating the burning of.
Well, I'll tell you, the Church of the Invisible Hand has interpreted this. Actually, we've decided that Jehovah, who we believe is just an alien who's fucking with the human race, burned down Notre Dame and that Muslim cathedral as his little way of saying, "You guys cut that shit out." So,
but if you look at it on a perspective like that, if you looked at who was laughing, it was mostly sand niggers.
You didn't even get out the whole word. Ian on the ball over there, man. He saw that shit coming.
Yeah.
That's
so
why
do we
he's the
have a
best,
15-second delay that doesn't even go over the no delay?
You can't delay video. I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of hardware that exists to do that, but I don't have it. It's not possible.
I can see how that would be hard. That would be a big hunk of data to store and pass along.
Well, I mean, there's technically a delay anyway, right? Like this won't go
Sure,
out
there's
to
an
tweet.
encoding and delivery delay.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a delay
10
in
seconds.
transit, but that doesn't help you. It still all leaves the computer instantaneously, so you don't have a chance to say, "Oops, hit
Well,
the."
we'd have to have
hit the
we'd have to have a
profanity button.
device here. So on LRN, there's an audio delay where when I hit the button, it dumps it out. But that's a 1-unit rack. You can see it right here, Rich. It's not a very large.
Oh, that's your
device.
delay box?
Yeah. Now to do it
Actually,
for
that's
video,
kind of huge for what it does. I mean, I'm used to the little pedals you
it's
put on guitars.
basically a
for
miniature
effect.
computer. It goes actually pretty deep. But
Wow.
to do it for video, you'd need something more significant. I mean, maybe there's a software program. I just haven't looked for it. If somebody knows, let me know.
Well, I mean, there's surely a way to spool it. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's not really a concern for me. I mean,
yeah, I will make a mental note.
My
I guess it doesn't matter here. I mean, as long as we're cutting them off, they're not going to throw us off the space.
Right.
No,
We've
if
had
they
these
do, it's gonna be-
shitbags calling Free Talk Live for the last year, doing the same stupid shit, and it doesn't get out on broadcast radio. And the idea is they think they're going to stop the channel, but they haven't. There's never been a takedown of LRN.FM because of these assholes who call in with this shit. This racism, and I think as long as you don't tolerate it, as long as it's not like ha ha ha, oh you're so funny, white power, as long as you're not like that, you're probably gonna be fine.
They fed us nothing but whole wheat rolls for like 2 weeks one time when I was in jail.
I was wondering what the fuck you were talking about.
Jail authority,
man.
we could get nothing but whole wheat
What
rolls.
happened?
And I think they ran out of flour, of the white flour. So we actually were chanting one day at breakfast. We were chanting, white flour, white flour.
Well, this has been Aria Uncensored. It's probably a good time to cut it off. It's been about 2 hours now. So thank you for tuning in. We do this every Tuesday. I hope next week to have Jerry J. Freeman of Victimless Crime Spree with us. You can check that out at victimlesscrimespree.com. It will depend upon whether or not he feels like, sticking around for another 2 hours after doing Free Talk Live. But I'm hoping I can convince him to. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, I do a live show Monday through Friday called Call to Freedom at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tune in to check out that. You can also check out Free Talk Live, which airs on the same channels that you've been watching here at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go check all of that shit out. Fuck off. This has been Aria Uncensored.
Shelter from the storm, yeah. Distance and spaces, where did you go? Don't leave me out in the cold. Your heart's forever my home. Where you go when you close your eyes, the place where a million lights shine. So tell me that you'll be my guide.
drunk and we think we might be broadcasting, so.
Well, we know we're broadcasting.
I'm pretty sure we're broadcasting, although we're drunk, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, there is no doubt that we are streaming now to D Live and Twitch. I mean, I'm looking at the red button from right here.
Oh wow!
So yeah, we are streaming. Look,
we're on the fucking
something
air.
has happened.
Has anything we've said been broadcast? Because I can't remember.
No, Ian had the mics muted on the mixer board. So
thank you, Ian.
Something weird has
if
happened.
If you'd been in here for the conversation we had, you would know why I say that.
Something weird has happened though within like the last 3-ish months, because 2 glasses of wine is not enough to get me too drunk to drive. It's a fair bit of wine, sure.
See,
but
I barely drink anymore. I used
maybe
to be
that's
a
the issue for me.
notorious drunk, and it's like now I drink two. Yeah,
I feel weird.
These
having
are
a
big
fucking
these are
shirt
like
on.
12-ounce glasses. You can fill us. Fuck.
I don't know what glows.
You can pour a full 12 ounces in there,
I
so
think
that's
those
like
glasses
3
are 12
glasses of
ounces.
wine. Is the other thing. So a glass of wine, according to your local bartender's guide, is 4 ounces. So each one of these is 3 glasses of wine, which means if you drink 2 of them, you've had 6 drinks, which places you in the
that is way too
probably
much
not
fucking
a
meth
good
right now.
idea to drive right now mode.
No, that's why I messaged a friend of mine. I was like, look, I cannot drive right now. I need you to take me to a food place that's open to get me some food. And then take me home, and I will deal with the fucking car thing tomorrow.
Well, do you want to just walk and get some food? No. Take you home?
Somebody's calling already.
I think I probably have
right.
to. Let's take it.
All
sure.
right. I ain't proud or tired.
Hey there, guy. Are you trolling?
No.
Are you going to
Awesome.
use the N-word?
No.
Welcome to the
Thank
show.
you.
Welcome to the shit show, man.
Yeah. Welcome to the Grand Illusion. Come on in and see what's happening.
So what's on your mind?
Basically, I want to talk about like Fortnite, and you think it's like on the downfall, or what do you guys think?
You know, I've never played Fortnite. I'm still streaming Smite. You know, because I prefer the MOBA genre to the what is the genre of game that they call Fortnite?
Are you going to call me a geezer if I tell you the last game I played seriously was StarCraft 2?
That's pathetic.
StarCraft 2 isn't that old.
The thing is, I'm a C++ programmer. There is no better video game than programming the fucking computer. The victory conditions are take the machine and make it your bitch, which is exactly what you're trying to do in every other game. It's just you can do it to a much greater extent if you're programming the bitch.
If you go back in time, though, you have Warcraft 3, which had mod capabilities to the extent that it created Defense of the Ancients, which led to the entire MOBA
Now,
genre.
wasn't Warcraft 3 World of Warcraft?
No.
Am I going to talk or no?
Yeah.
The guy with the titties out, like, what are you trying to do with those?
That, my friend, is a girl with her titties out.
That's not a girl.
Well, I mean, to each their own. I would disagree. I would respectfully disagree.
I would respectfully disagree as
but
well.
I understand your perspective. I mean, I do have a dick.
I mean, not really a perspective. It's just facts. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, sure, biologically, I am a male. I don't take issue with this.
But it's all a matter of definitions, okay? So let's not have this bullshit that once a word has a definition, it can never have another definition.
So my question
I
is,
know,
like,
but you really want to hold on for this.
trying to,
Would you lick my
trick
anus?
guys or something? So my question is, like, are you trying to like trick guys thinking you're a girl, or
I think they know from pretty. I think it becomes pretty apparent.
I mean, once you've said openly on the radio, I have a penis, I think people know what to expect from you, you know, that you probably have a
They'll
penis.
be like, oh, shit, he has long hair, he has some boobies sticking out. I might go with that. Like, a lot of black people are desperate for stuff like that, and you look like...
I like black dick.
Like, you have low self-esteem, so that's why I asked.
I have very high self-esteem. Yeah. If I didn't have high self-esteem, I wouldn't do like topless shows on Twitch.
I respectfully disagree.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. See, the funny thing is, having known, you know, girls with dicks and boys with dicks. Obviously, I've known a lot more boys with dicks than girls with dicks. Girls with dicks are pretty rare, but having known both, there is a definite difference in personality, in the feel and the vibe of hanging out with them. I don't know if that comes across on the radio, but have you ever read the Three Faces of Eve?
No, I don't really read that much. No.
Yeah, I kind of got that impression you weren't a big reader. You know, do you think a lot?
Nowadays.
Do you think a lot?
I don't know, here and there.
Well, give it a try. Read a book and think a little and see if you can,
even if you don't
come
read...
up with a better thing to be hostile against. Because, you've got a government raping you in the fucking ass. And you're worried about how somebody identifies or gender? Really? That's kind of silly, don't you think?
Fanny, shut up.
I'm sorry. What the fuck did you just say?
Oh, I said Fanny, like Santa Claus. You know, big ass beard.
Santa Claus. Oh, I do have a big beard. I do have a big beard. You know what else I got this big?
So
a fucking ego.
Yes, that's exactly it. Good call, my brother.
What?
Good answer. I'm going to go full Family Feud there. Good answer.
What is your issue there?
That was brilliant.
So this is your thing? You have no viewers, so like, what are you trying to do?
Well, we have you. I don't know. We just got pissed drunk and realized you were still on the air. So you're the one who's still hanging out in our chat room.
That is
so
like
obviously you got nothing better to do, my brother.
How many people called today?
That is literally how it happened.
We have had a great many calls, of which a great many assholes have been, and also some non-assholes.
Well, hold on.
Which is about what we expect from an open phone line.
Because, relatively speaking, we're a talk show, right? So we're not going to be big like PewDiePie or something like that.
Kentucky or something?
Are you kidding? I'm bigger than PewDiePie. He's tiny. He's a little girly man.
Chill out for a second.
No offense.
I am
Don't
from...
be fucking talking shit about PewDiePie, you fucking neckbeard fucking ass.
Okay, you want to come talk to me in person, bro? You go ahead. I'm cool.
Oh, I definitely would. I would make fun of you. I would roast you. I'd make you cry.
I'm in Keene, New Hampshire. Let me know when you're on your way. I'll give you the address.
New Hampshire? You're from New Hampshire? Oh, my God.
I'm not from New Hampshire. I'm from Michigan, if you need to know, bro.
Well, that's even
I'm
more
from
gay.
Detroit.
That's even more gay.
You want to see what it's like when people are from fucking Detroit?
Oh, so why'd you leave Detroit? Because you're too soft.
Well, I left Detroit because I want to be free. And I joined the Free State Project, and I moved to Keene, New Hampshire to fight for my liberty.
Because you were scared.
Not at all. Not at all. I grew up selling fucking weed in Michigan. It was no big deal. I lived in Ann Arbor, but I went all over the place.
You're an original gangster.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
No, I would not. That was
I know OGs, but... the thing is, it's like I have a different ethic about killing than they do. You have to do more than piss me off to get me to kill you. You have to actually be a physical threat to me. So it's a different ethic.
Hold on. Let me answer this question because he's asked this twice now. Yes, we did get a number of normal callers. What you're watching now is a stream that we sort of got drunk and forgot to end, and then we realized that the mics were still on and we were still streaming.
And so, in some cases,
please chill. So we turned the mic back on, and we were like, okay, well, we're still fucking streaming, so we might as well continue this drunk ass fucking conversation, right?
And now we're having it with you.
But prior to that, we had a relatively successful show called Aria Uncensored, and prior to that, we had a very successful show aired across almost 200 radio stations across just the continental United States called Free Talk Live. And before that,
the after show.
Before that, we had. Well, I know that to be true for a fact. So you can doubt it all you fucking want, but it's called Free Talk Live, and you can
go to
fucking
freetalklive.com, my brother. freetalklive.com, cam.lrm.fm.
Okay, ignore that.
Strip nude or something?
But prior to, yes, we are new to T Live or Twitch or wherever the fuck you're watching at. We are extremely new to these channels.
Are you on Twitch or Discord or
YouTube?
whatever. We
Oh,
don't know.
hold on. Hold
This
on.
is a
Hold on.
YouTube
Hold
guy?
on. Hold on. We are on YouTube because my channel streams to YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, we're there too?
So you're watching my
We're
YouTube
everywhere.
channel. Hold on. Chill the fuck out. Yeah, you're watching my YouTube channel, which has less than 100 fucking subscribers, because for years the channel just sat there doing fucking nothing. And then finally one day I was like, okay, well, we should stream the Call to Freedom, which is my daily show that broadcasts Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was like, we should simultaneously stream this to my YouTube channel, since I'm, I wouldn't object to building it, and which has been sort of growing by about 1 subscriber a week since, which is pretty good considering we pay absolutely no fucking attention to it whatsoever. Right? Like Ian here, who owns fucking LRN.FM, didn't even know we were streaming to YouTube.
What do you guys think about like pedophilia on Fortnite?
What do we think about pedophilia?
Why do we keep getting asked this?
I think that shooting pedophiles is a wonderful thing to do.
No,
and,
it's on Fortnite. Like,
I do not agree with that statement.
Okay. Oh, now, when I say that, I mean active pedophiles. I mean people who have actually hurt a child.
I still don't agree with that.
Huh.
You are fucking delusional. Fucking
Yeah.
pedophiles. People that try to rape kids and you don't want them to die?
I do not want them to die. I want them to be
So what do you want?
forgiven so that they can become productive members of society who act in love rather
See,
than
nearly
rather than
any
lust.
crime there, Aria, I would agree with you there.
Yeah,
but,
and
but
I get that.
pedophilia is a difference because
See, no, it's not a
something that
different-
is an
it's not
inborn
different.
drive that
it's
somebody
animalistic
can't escape.
lust. It's people going, oh, I just cannot. I
think it's
especially
more than
cannot
that.
stand this fucking crime in the same way that they do with fucking racism or something else. To me, it's all the fucking same. It's all just being immoral.
Well, to some
It's
extent,
all just
I
me
think
judging
it's
them based on my
perversive.
own moral standards,
yo,
and
if this is a
I am
gay
not
guy
their
talking,
judge.
I really hope you choke on your hot dog or something.
I am not
Well,
gay.
go fuck yourself, bro, because people have every right to have political disagreements, This is a big fucking world, and everybody in it has had different fucking experiences, and those are going to lead to different fucking opinions. So why don't you just get over the idea that your opinion is the only opinion that is validity? That's nonsense, bro.
No, he has the right to disagree, but I have the right to say whatever I want as well.
I'm sorry.
Yes, you
What's
do.
with the
You have the
noises
right
you're
to
making?
say it.
Did
I
you
just
just
have
call
the
me
right to
a
say you're a
he?
jackass.
Did you just call me a he?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Well, suck her dick.
Yeah. Best fucking response ever. You can suck my female dick, man. I don't care. It's no longer my show, man. I don't know what this is, but it's a train wreck. So.
Well, Groovy, I'm wrecked. You're wrecked, clearly. And if the train's wrecked, then I say let's go on with it.
What is that?
That is a bong hit sound effect because nobody can keep hitting it that evenly for that long. I know, I've tried.
That was a real bong hit, recorded in the WYNF studios in Sarasota, Florida.
No shit.
Yeah, real
Who
bong hit.
took that epic hit?
I think it was me.
No shit.
It wasn't that epic. I mean,
It sounds epic. Did you repeat it
Just
3
sounds good,
times?
that's all.
or-
No.
Well, that was one stand. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you still have the bong?
No.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, see, that's very rare that I'll get one that's that noisy for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, a bong.
It's not. It's a 6-second sound effect. It's not that long.
Yeah. I
You've
guess
taken
so.
a 5-second bong hit before. I mean, everybody. It's not
Well,
a big
yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe it just sounds longer when it's not going on. Sorry about that, folks. I'm being unprofessional here.
That's all right. Welcome to the after show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the after show.
Well, the
of
thing is, we're
Uncensored After
drunker,
Show.
and that's going to mean that we have a lower bar of professionals, whatever the fuck.
I've got to get up in the morning to go to Randcap's breakfast event.
Oh, shit.
What's Randcap's?
Randcap, he's in our Discord.
Who's that?
Randcap, Jay Freeville.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah, the breakfast event he created.
Is
it's
he
still
in
going.
town?
No, he's in Florida.
Oh, okay. So he's not going to be there. See, that's what confused me is I didn't think he was here, so I didn't know why he was having an event.
No, I think he created it.
Oh,
I
wow.
think he created the breakfast.
What time is it?
It's like 2 o'clock.
It's early.
Well, I know what time it is
Super
right now.
early.
I meant what time is the breakfast?
Oh,
thing?
no, it's 1:45.
Oh, there's zero
Jesus.
chance I'm
Yeah.
waking up at by
Super early.
8:30. Yeah, fuck that. I mean, especially after not sleeping last night.
Yeah,
it's not fucking
true.
happening.
Yeah. I have to make a special effort to get up that early.
Yeah, I will probably get up that early only because, I want to go there and do something.
I have zero desire to fucking get up that early, man.
Yeah, I usually don't. I mean, if I had a choice between an early event and a late event, I'd take the early event, but given as that's what there is, I'll be there.
Rancap asks, is Josh still slinging omelets? I didn't know Josh ever did the omelet station.
Which Josh?
The socialist Josh, what's his fuck? The guy from Stop Free Keene.
What's his fuck?
The guy from the hater Josh.
Oh, shit.
What the fuck was his last name? Josh.
Fuck if I know. I never knew who any of those assholes were.
He was a self-proclaimed Satanist.
Really?
Yeah, and self-proclaimed Satanist and self-proclaimed socialist.
I considered becoming a Satanist before I
name?
started my own church. They're probably...
Rancap's going to remember it. He's going to post it in the, I don't know, Josh something or other.
The funny thing
He's
is...
still around. Rancap, he still works there. And Andrea still works there. Joshua Erickson, that's right.
Andrea
Erickson.
Whitcomb.
Joshua Erickson. He still works there. Yeah, he's still there. I think he was working at the fucking vegan place for a while, and he was the one that got the vegan place to stop taking cryptocurrency. But I don't know if he still works there. I haven't seen him there in quite a while.
Wow.
But I don't go there. I just I drive by there often enough. But
wow, that's kind of funny.
yeah, Stop Free Keene's dead. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Bring on the next hate group.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't miss the Schmitz, the temporary resident.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, their house is much nicer now. They put a lot of money in. Whoever it was that bought it, whatever corporation, put a lot of money into that thing, man. It's nice
yeah. Well, from what it went through after they left, it must have been a shithole.
Yeah. Oh, it was. They literally had a dumpster out front that was the entire length of the driveway. It was the largest dumpster I've ever seen.
Wow.
I had to climb up this dumpster to take a picture. I wanted to take a picture of what was in the dumpster. I had to climb up the thing to be able to actually photograph it. It was that big. Full of garbage, full of trash, full of junk, full of whatever it was they left in that house. And they had a moving truck that they loaded full of stuff. So they loaded up their important shit.
A one-story, two-bedroom house?
It's a ranch. It's a ranch,
so it's
maybe
not
2-3
like,
bed.
I might expect that if it was a 6-bedroom house, but, not for a little ranch.
It was gross. You knew it was gross because of all the shit they had in there.
Yeah.
So what's still open where we can walk
You're not
to get
wearing
some
your
food?
headphones, sweetie.
There's nothing to listen to, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, I guess it's true.
we don't
I
have
guess-
an asshole caller on the
See,
line.
I hear you better even when I'm
No, but it's a
wearing
good
my
idea to have
headphones.
headphones on because if you go off mic, you can hear it. And it's
Yeah,
nice to know
exactly.
that
You
when
can
do
you
that.
get the feedback. I like that.
Yeah, it's important. All right, are we done with this thing?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
What's still open where we can walk to get some food?
Okay. I don't know.
Let me breathe you in and break the walls in your mouth. Inside your shivering If you keep building these walls, brick by brick towers so tall, soon I won't see you at all, till the concrete angel falls.
see tonight?
To see Gareth. He's amazing. I love him more than anything in the
million miles away from here. Take me away. Find a place for you and me. You're taking me higher, high as I could be. You take me away. Forever you and me.
Yo he estado en la oscuridad, la tormenta, si llevo todo al pasar, voy andando y miro alrededor, tanta pena y dolor, pero sigo sintiendo tu corazón. Siento
Trance Evolution, the best trance and progressive all around the world. Edit Andrea Mazza. for the real trans fan. Dollars for the real trans fan.
Number 20. New entry.